Hi folks, Scott Sager with you here, RTC TV4. Today we've got a special treat for you. I brought in the folks from the Times Theater Group here in Rochester to tell us all about the wonderful things that are going to happen to the Times Theater. You've seen the progress, sometimes slow, but there's a lot happening behind the scenes you might not be aware of. So we brought the group in today to talk about some of that. We'll start with some introductions. We'll start right here.
Hi, I'm Christine Walsh.
Excellent.
Tanner Lee.
Nick Sager.
Phyllis Dousman.
Liz Honeycutt.
And Renee Frantner.
Renee, very good. Well, thank you all very much for coming. It's always a pleasure to have a group in here. Now, this is a big coalition. You've got a lot of moving parts to this Times Theater Group, but let's start with the basics of it. For the history, if you don't know, the theater was shut down in January of what, 2017? 14. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie here in Rochester. And as I understand it, that was due to the change in technologies, the expense to bring in all the new equipment to handle the HD, digital footage, etc. was just going to be too much of an expense.
Correct.
So the building is now owned by the Times Theater Group, is this correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it was originally owned by Mr. Hoff, or Dr. Hoff here in
Yes.
Rochester. And was that a gift to the group?
Yes,
Or-
it was.
Yes, it was.
So a nice gift there from a local individual. You have the theater, you've got the building. Beautiful marquee, needs some work.
Right.
Last time I was in the building was with Nick Sager. We walked through there, 2 years ago. So I have not been back in the building for a while. Let's talk about, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's talk first about what the overall vision for the theater group is. Who do we want to have maybe answer that as far as 5 years from now, what do we want to see this theater being?
Well, we want it to be a community arts center. We
Okay.
want to be able to run movies. We want to do live performances.
Excellent.
We'd like to be able to have comedians, musicians.
Kids
Like,
programs.
yes.
Excellent.
We want-
So, bringing some culture into the
Right.
heart of downtown Rochester, right? With all those various types. You've got, of course, the film, which you're going to have a screen there of some sorts. The live performances. That's where a lot of these folks in these small communities have taken their theaters, is to nothing but a live performance hall. So it'll set empty most of the week, and then maybe on a Friday night they'll have something, or a Saturday evening. But for you guys, you're looking for something that's going to be busy through the week, during the
That's
day,
right.
in the evenings, etc. So, well, where does it start? How do we get something like this off the ground and rolling?
Contributions.
That's
We need
exactly-
the community to be involved, to volunteer, to know that this project is worth investing in.
Excellent. So not just time, not just money, but we want all of it, right? We want you to be a part of this, take it in as something that you want to be a part of, that you believe in for your community, and reach out to you guys to see how you can help, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. You've got a great Facebook page up there. Is that the best way to reach out to you guys? Is through the Facebook, or is there a website? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Currently, our Facebook page.
Right.
Is the
Facebook
best
is
way?
the best at the moment.
Excellent.
Yes.
And let's tell everybody what that Facebook page is. It's Times Theater Group, is that correct? Or Times
Times
Theater
Theater Inc.
Inc.
Inc,
Times
yep.
Theater Inc. Very good. Look that up on Facebook if you want to reach out to these folks. We'll put some information up on the screen for you so that you can type that in and be able to reach out and contact them. So, movies, art, music, children's performances. We have to have the venue cleaned up first.
Absolutely.
So let's start outside. It is a beautiful marquee. It is a historic marquee. It is well founded into that building, as I understand it,
Yes, it is.
but it needs refurbished. And as I understand, that is not a inexpensive endeavor.
No, it is not.
It is not.
Okay. As it sits today, and no guarantees to anybody out there, but as it sits today, where do we stand on the marquee? Is it something that we are going to need to remove? Is it something that's going to be removed, put back, and fully refurbished? Where's the thoughts there?
We are still researching.
Looking at all the
Because
options?
there are lots of people very interested in helping us.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of different ideas and opinions.
Okay.
And we appreciate all of them, and they're valid. Some people think we should work on it, leave it on the building.
Sure.
We had a group in last week that said they just slid theirs off the beams and left the beams hang out and took the marquee off. So it's just right now we're still.
Information gathering, trying to figure out what the best option is going to be.
Right.
But your
Absolutely.
vision that you would like to see is some type of refurbished marquee out.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good, very good. We'll let you have your time with that. Like I said, I'm not gonna pin you down on anything today. We don't wanna do that in a
Yeah.
group that's still working forwards. A lot of options out there, some more costly than others, some more
Absolutely, yeah.
aesthetically pleasing than others.
Right.
So you'll have to work through that a little bit. Okay, so the marquee we'll get to. Let's go inside. Last I had seen the inside, we were still in demo mode. We had taken out quite a few of the chairs and you were working out some of the debris. Where does it stand in there today?
You can see the stage.
Okay.
The walls have
The
been
old
taken
stage.
out. The
Yeah,
old
yeah,
stage.
the
Now,
stage
this
is-
was behind the screen, so a lot
Right.
of you folks haven't
It's
seen
odd,
the
yes,
stage.
it's
No,
beautiful.
it's open. The stage itself is in really good shape.
Good to know.
The theater opened in 1924.
24,
So
thank you.
it is in pretty good condition for what it is.
Wow, that's fantastic, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So maybe some refurb to the stage, but you're
Right.
gonna be able to leave the bones intact for sure.
Mhm.
Excellent, excellent. So you've had some events going on. We met up at Schnabeltier when you guys were out there serving some popcorn. It was good popcorn, by the way.
The best
We
in
have,
town.
exactly, we have excellent
Yeah,
popcorn,
it's a
so
theater, they should have the
please,
best.
come and have some.
Yeah, but that was a neat fundraising idea that I'd seen you guys pull out a few times. And for everything going on in this community, you can typically see someone from the Times Theater standing next to a booth or doing something out there trying to tell folks what's going on and solicit, if you will, those folks who want to volunteer, who want to contribute, etc. So, with regard to our timeline, are we still in the early forming stages and we've still got a few years to go before we're holding events in there? Is that where we're at?
Yes.
Realistically?
Real
Yeah, really,
events,
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
We'll probably have an open house sort of memory tour,
Nice.
but actual events,
We're a few years out.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work, and for this is the first time for Rochester. I've seen this happen, of course, down in Logansport. I was a part of the Buzzkirk Chumley revitalization down in Bloomington, which now does all of the things that you're talking about here in Rochester, and of course Bloomington, a larger community. They brought a lot of money together and,
Right.
and did it right, as they say. But a smaller community here, we can still put something really nice out there, can we not?
Yes.
We can, with the help of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just saw the other day that First Federal has really partnered with the folks up in Plymouth at the Reese Theater up there. Are we looking for corporate sponsors as well for
Yes.
this?
We sure are.
So if you're higher up there in one of the businesses here locally or even not locally, we'll take your sponsorship from out of the county.
Yes,
won't
we will.
But we want to make sure that you understand that this is still in those formative stages, and so if you want to come on board and be a major contributor to this, have your name somehow associated with something. I'm not promising that we're going to call it the RCA Dome. We're not going that corporate yet, but no, it's great, and it's great to have organizations like First Federal, of course, founded here in Fulton County, doing great things throughout the state of Indiana. So we're looking for more of those folks to come on board. What can I do? What can I do with my cameras? Do I need to come in there and show Nick hauling away some debris or painting?
Not much debris
painting an
left
edge?
to haul
Right,
away.
there's none,
But
yeah.
most of that out?
Right.
Excellent, excellent.
But we could probably maybe arrange a tour with the cameras and
Yeah.
stuff to show the public
That would
Excellent.
be, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We might
what's
set
been
that up.
done. So I mean, people will be amazed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's something we
Looks
might want to
completely
do here
different.
soon. So look for that coming up. We'll try and get the cameras rolling there. But well, let's talk a little bit about what's the inspiration behind this. Is it simply because? Well, I'll let you guys answer that. Why do we need the cultural center? Let's call it that here, in the arts center, in downtown Rochester. What's that going to bring to the community?
Revitalizing the building itself will bring more people to the downtown in general.
Sure.
So all of downtown.
Beautification.
Right,
Mhm.
will benefit from more people coming.
I agree.
Just in general.
Yeah.
The children now don't have what we had
Mhm.
growing up.
I agree.
And I think that that's important, that we can show the kids here what
Yeah.
we had, and that it's nice to go as a whole family to the local movie, or if we have art
Absolutely.
programs,
Mm-hmm.
then they can have programs there. The dance recitals, I used to be in Pam and Louise as a kid, so, up on that stage
Yeah.
is really nice, and I think the families will really
Just
enjoy
another
that.
arena to showcase all the great things happening here in Fulton County, right? Well, culture is important. It attracts business.
Right,
And, you know, if you're going to attract business, which Fulton County has been pretty aggressive on over the past few years, you've got to have some form of culture, whether it is the art through, you know, paintings and whatnot, whether it's community theater, whether it's movie time, whether it's children's productions. All that stuff matters to the folks looking to come to Rochester, Indiana, or to move their business anywhere. The quality of life is the thing. And, you know, one of the neat statistics to come out lately was that employees tend not to want money as a bonus as much as they would like time off as a bonus. And I found that to be very interesting, and it tells you that the one commodity that we're losing is the time in our lives to do so many things happening. Of course, that brings the popularity of something like a Channel 4 because you can't be at all the events, and so you can watch them online when you're ready to. But as a part of that, we want to bring it back to where the energies of this community are going towards one goal. And I think that by bringing the energies together, something like this, the impact that it can have on this community is, quite frankly, endless. You can bring in major players and even the local. We have a lot of local artists, more so than most communities of our size do, and I think that we should grasp onto that. And by the art, again, you may have the photographers, you may have the painters. I don't know how many folks I know locally who are excellent musicians.
right.
And they travel out of this county on a weekly basis to go play at some open mic nights or some jam sessions in other communities.
Mhm.
So it'll be nice to hold those here in Fulton
Yes.
County up on a stage and right downtown. And I couldn't agree more that a facility like that, if you have an event on a Tuesday night, you've just brought all those folks in on a Tuesday night who are going to eat at our local downtown establishments, drink at our local establishments, shop at our, or, you know, stop at our gas stations and stop at the local places. And the more we continue to add to that, the more you'll see in downtown Rochester. So I think that this is one of those pillars, one of those cornerstones that have to be there, and I appreciate all you're doing. What's next for the group? Where in the process, what's going to expedite it? If somebody wrote you $1 million check today, is this group ready just to start running?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How is the funding coming along? Are you getting 5s and 10s? Are you getting big donations from some corporates? Are we still working on that and building it out a little bit? Where are we at?
I think yes to all of those.
Okay.
Recently, we were awarded a sizable grant from the Northern Indiana Community Foundation.
Excellent.
And that money is going towards hiring an architect, which I think we haven't signed the papers for, but we're
Working with architects now.
we're working with an architect
Yes.
now. And then also, the Community Foundation awarded us matching funds for the Main Street revitalization project.
Mhm.
And so if we're awarded that, that will go towards the facade of our building, and so that's also very exciting. And I think that for all of us, that was just maybe a push for it. To get us a little more motivated. It was pretty
Hey,
exciting for
like
all
I
of
say,
us.
if that $1 million check comes in today, you're all going to feel that motivation,
Yeah.
aren't you?
And we have started getting some more sizable
Great.
donations from people.
Yeah.
And
Great.
all the popcorn events and the other events that we are raising money
Slowly
on.
but surely, right?
Yeah.
And this
And
is
it
truly
just-
grassroots, folks. I mean,
And I
it's,
think the one thing that was really made an impression on me was specifically at the 4th of July fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
We were selling popcorn, and a lot of people were just pulling out dollars,
Right.
not wanting popcorn.
right.
Yeah.
And these are people that probably don't have a lot of dollars to
Right.
share.
Sure.
And I think that that's just really inspiring and motivating.
Yeah,
And I feel like everyone in the community needs to know that they are part of the community.
absolutely.
And even if you have a dollar, we will take your
We'll
dollar.
take $1.
It all helps, and that's one of the misconceptions in life. We all don't have to be the Koch brothers in order to make contributions to things. $1 helps, $5
Does.
helps. If you can make it 20, that's great. But I think that that's one of the things that you need to realize out there is that truly every dollar does progress you forward, and therefore send it in. They'll be happy to take it.
And you can get back popcorn for it.
Yeah, right. Now, you are a 501?
Yes.
Yes,
C3,
we are.
so nonprofit organization here, which means, and you can talk to your tax accountant, I am not one, but you'll be able to save some money or get some reimbursement there for your contribution on your taxes annually. So you can work that out. So make that big check. Don't be afraid to write it.
That's right.
Put my name on the top. Yeah, Times Theater Group right here in Rochester. So, are any of you artists yourselves? I think I want to ask that question. What's motivating you guys to be a part of this individually? I'm going to start here. I'm going to ask you each that question.
I do photography.
Photography, right here. Tanner
I do
Lee?
a lot of audio.
You
but,
do, you do.
I think what my motivation is as a millennial,
Uh-huh.
I guess my age group's called, we just don't have a lot to do in Rochester. And by getting the theater up and going again, it just gives us something fun and inexpensive to do.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'll give Nick a second here. One of the things that's important to me, and again, I'm not a millennial. I'm past that. I kind of wish I was, but in all honesty, my kids coming up, they're like this, 24/7. They're watching movies. Their face is down. They're going to have neck pains when they're older. It's guaranteed, right? I'm going to go into chiropractic
Yeah.
now so that I have all these patients here in a few years. But getting offline and doing something tangible, something real, where you can
Absolutely.
see the painting and or you can touch something or feel something or hear something with your actual senses than just observing what's here. I think that's a great thing, and I think we need more of it on this planet, not just in Rochester, Indiana, but it starts locally, and I would agree with that. Let's move on to Nick.
Well, I worked there for about 15 years, working and helping out and everything.
In the
so-
theater there was Susie.
Yes.
Excellent.
So I seen it on its decline.
Uh-huh.
So to be a part of it and being able to take it back to its heyday
Yeah.
would be awesome.
That's
I mean,
excellent.
you hear stories all the time about what it was like back in the day.
Yeah.
And to be able to bring it in and get the people back in there would be awesome.
It's excellent. And you know, it's not too out of the realm of possibilities for Rochester, Indiana to become a hub of culture in north central Indiana. We know that it was here at one point,
It
right,
was.
where we had
There
the
was a
big
lot of
bands out
culture
there at the
then.
Yes,
lake.
absolutely.
And it's, you know, we are more than just the lake, and by building the downtown around that, I think it's some great ideas. Phyllis?
Well, like Tanner said, to bring things to do to Rochester
Uh-huh.
for all ages, of all types of entertainment
Yeah.
and culture.
Yeah. Now, you're a bit of a transplant. You came from up north, didn't you?
Yes. uh-huh.
Okay. And now you live here full-time
Yes,
out
we
on the
do,
lake?
yes.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Please.
I wouldn't consider myself necessarily an artist,
Okay.
but I've always had artistic tendencies.
Sure.
I'm a creator. I knit and I sew clothing.
Hey, that's enough for me right
Right.
there. That's
Right,
enough.
she's
That's
very
it.
talented.
I'm not going to do that.
But more importantly, I think that I grew up in communities that had small independent theaters that
Mhm.
did much like what we're trying to do here. And it was just always a really wonderful place for me. And it's something that I want for our community, but also for my children.
Yeah, you got a couple of youngsters.
Yeah, I got
right?
2 little boys that we live on Main Street, and it's really important. We love to walk downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really important for us to continue that and to make it a place for our kids to be.
That's
so
great.
that's pretty much what's motivating.
Excellent answer there. How about you, Renee?
Well, I'm a wannabe artist. I play around with my sketchbook quite a bit.
Excellent.
But I don't usually show anybody anything, but I do draw. And my biggest motivation, Fretz Abstract Company's been in my family for 5 generations.
Wow.
I grew up, my grandma's house was actually where the jail now sits, but her house was the big Victorian over there. And this downtown was my playground. I mean, I played on the Lions as a kid. I ran around all over, and this town was happening back then. And I appreciate restored properties. I love old properties. Anybody that knows me knows that. And I just think to let the theater go would be just a real shame.
Yeah.
And I do really believe in the arts in the community theater.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Well, most artists I know are way too humble. I had a friend who would paint the most immaculate paintings, and then she would throw them away. And it was me grabbing them back out of the trash that eventually got her career started because I started selling them for her. But the point is that a lot of humility in that, so I appreciate that as well. Now, there's lots of options, folks. You can spend your time and energy on anything you want to, but I think that this is probably one of the most worthwhile things I've seen happening in Fulton County in a number of years. And that's not to belittle the other things, but I do believe in the importance of this quality of life, and I do believe it starts with a group like this right here. And there are others involved. I know Maria Kelsey's very close to the group. You've got some others you're welcome to name if you care to. But these are folks that have taken their time and they've said, we've got a mission. We're going to make this happen. We're not going to let the character of this theater die because it represents so much for this community. And I can't thank you guys enough. Time and energy, as I said, time, the one
Yes.
thing we don't have anymore. And you guys are taking some of yours and giving it to this nonprofit organization to try and bring great things to Rochester and Fulton County. Now, I've been around, of course, we do the show up at the Wild Rose Moon now once a month for their open mic night. And wow, they've taken an old building and used the brick facade and done great things with it. And that's not even an official theater like the Reese or the Times or the State down in Logansport, where I've filmed more than one event down there. Now, in that case, I think some private individuals bought it and they made it so that you could come and watch live entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think they have some, they're able to serve some food and some drinks as well. But here we've got a community coalition coming together trying to do this and not necessarily for the profits that can be made here, but for what it brings to the character of Fulton County. So,
I think one thing people need to realize is this is going to be everybody's theater.
yeah.
Yes.
It's not an individual that's going to own it. It's our theater.
Yeah.
It's the Fulton County Theater. It's, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
not just one individual.
So, of course, 2 years from now, there'll be some different infrastructure in place. You guys, hopefully the building has come along and you're beginning to schedule some events, and therefore you'll have to put some infrastructure in place, who's coordinating and scheduling all this stuff, and who's maintaining the building, et cetera, et cetera. But that's down the road. You can block that out because you don't even have to think along those lines until we get the rest of this done. So again, folks, it's on Facebook, Times Theater Inc. Now, one of the neat things, and Julie Sutton, who's been in and out of this group helping out, she told me that I could go onto my Amazon Smile account and make my contributions through that charitable part of Amazon, go over there. I know that I've given this group 82 cents at this point.
Awesome,
Yeah. See, every dollar
It
right.
does, right? It does.
Yes.
But just for my Amazon purchases that I would have made anyway. So I want to encourage everybody to do that. Again, if you're on Amazon, you can go to Amazon Smile. Times Theater Group is now one of the groups that you can choose. I had the ASPCA prior to this because there wasn't anything local, and I said, as much as I love the ASPCA, I've already adopted 8 cats from the animal shelter. I think that I can give the Times Theater my money for a while. So I want to encourage everybody to do that because that literally adds up to thousands and thousands of dollars that cost you nothing. You are going to spend the money on Amazon anyways. So a really good thing there. And I hope to see some other local stores maybe do some contributions. I remember years ago Target, on my Target card, they would allow me to give 5% of my purchases from Target to a particular school. And I was living in Bloomington at the time, I chose a local school. But that's something that I'd like to see some of the other businesses in town maybe consider doing, so.
And it's starting to happen.
Good.
That is starting to happen. I just had a conversation yesterday.
Well,
So,
I just want to continue to pat you guys on the back here and give you the energy you need because it's gonna, it's a slow, gradual process and sometimes you feel like you've just been running in place, right?
Yes.
But I think you are making progress and, the energy's starting to build even more and seeing you guys out the way I have. T-shirts available for sale, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how do we get
For
a
a
T-shirt?
donation.
For a donation, you can get a T-shirt and they're really neat
Right.
T-shirts. Did
Come to
Matt-
the Schnabeltier popcorn events. We
Okay.
have T-shirts or
Yeah.
contact us directly.
Excellent, excellent. What else can we tell the folks? I know that there have been a lot of questions, and I think we've answered a lot of them here. We're in the process, right? We are moving along. Due diligence, always important in these type of
Absolutely.
things. So you don't just take one idea of, hey, blow the whole building up, or hey, let's paint it all purple. You gotta take all the ideas in
Yeah,
and
and we're-
come across with some serious decisions there, so.
Yeah.
And we have created a good group. This
Yeah.
is all of the board except Maria. She
Maria.
was not able to be here today. And then we've created an advisory committee as well,
Excellent.
which does have Julie Sutton on
Yeah.
it. Terry Lee, Barry Baldwin's helping us.
Nice.
Charles Riddle, that we're just starting to have more and more people that
Uh-huh.
really want to help. Brian over here has been helping a
Brian
lot.
would come on camera, he's taking pictures.
But, yeah, so we are
Brian.
really starting to have more and more committed people
That's
all
great.
the time.
That is
So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I thought it was high time to get them on RTC here, so I'm glad you guys came in. Thanks for taking the time. A little nerve wracking, but once you get in here and you just chat, What's that?
If anyone wants to volunteer,
Yeah.
you can reach out to us via Facebook or njsager@gmail.com.
Okay.
And we'd love to have you come aboard. Also, just check us out at all the events. And if you have an event coming up that you'd like to have popcorn at, reach out to us.
Reach out to us.
We're more than willing to
It's a good
come
point.
to any event. It doesn't have to be a big concert or anything like that. We're more than willing to do anything. So
That's great. That's great. Well, good things happening here in Fulton County from people in Fulton County doing great things. So I just want to encourage everybody out there, become a part of something. If it's not the Times Theater Group, maybe it's Habitat for Humanity or CASA or one of the other great groups here in Fulton County. This one I find to be very important. It's going to bring that quality of life back to Fulton County, and I think it'll be a major catalyst for things. Digress for one other second. My wife told me a story of a small place over in Ohio. It's kind of off the beaten path, but it's similar to a Rochester in that it's in between major cities and on a thoroughfare between. And they now book 500 people in a room, or fill a room 2 nights a week as major artists move from, let's say, Detroit to Cincinnati. On the way down, they'll stop and they'll play a Tuesday night gig at this small town, and they pack the house. People come in from everywhere, and that's something that's a possibility out of all this, of
Absolutely.
course. But even the local artists, just the Akron Area Arts League, and presenting photographs and the pictures. Of course, we've got Diane Tessler and everything she's doing over there in Kiwanis. And, you know, we need places to showcase all this stuff so that Renee can get her sketches off the pad and up on the wall, and we can all finally see her great artistry. But no, in all seriousness, this is near and dear to my heart. I thank you guys so much for all you're doing. If we can help here at RTC, you guys stop in and let us know, okay?
Thank you. We
Well,
appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you, thank you.
It's our pleasure. You'll have some information coming up here at the end of the screen, and just take this information down. Make sure you reach out to these folks here. Again, you've got the folks from the Times Theater Inc. here in Rochester trying to rebuild the downtown one brick at a time, if you will. So thank you again for all your time. We'll see you guys next time on RTC TV4.